Welcome everybody. Gnashing of Teeth, our show here. It's our episode 14. However that looks on the thing, 14 or 14. It's episode
I'll
14.
use.
How are you, G? What's going on?
I'm good. I'm
Doing good.
good. Ready to enjoy the weekend. I might turn on my PS5 for the first time in probably 3 months.
I sold
So
mine. I bought one and it sat there, and then I sold it for cash just to help me move. Yeah. Never even played it. I think I lost 50.
yeah,
I think I paid 500 and sold it for 450. Whatever. What are you drinking tonight? What are you drinking for the show?
I got two things. I got my
The blue
specialty blue Gatorade.
The blue Gatorade, there it is.
I got premium Fiji water.
Water. All right.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah.
I got a tall boy that I'm drinking here, beer. And then I've got some Budweiser, hopefully for the end of the show. Uh, Last show, we were showing some occult items. Really good show. It turned out pretty well. And you
Mhm.
inspired me, and I went and bought me one of those keys that you
Mine
have.
are like 30 times smaller. In
I,
fact, let me go get mine real quick. Just give me.
yeah, do it. Go get it. Go get yours. That's right. Because unlike you, I buy like the big legit stuff. I go big. I go big on the items. That's the thing.
Well,
I don't skimp on the
now
item.
I gotta get one more thing.
Oh,
No.
here we go. Here we go. Hey, next time, why don't you prepare for the show? We're doing it. This
I
key.
didn't know you were gonna I didn't know you were gonna bring out a key.
All right, what do you got? Show me what you got.
All right, so I got two keys.
You showed the two keys,
So the
yes.
first one, so I got a very tiny one.
Yes,
Okay.
that key. Yeah.
Like the size of my finger.
Right.
That's the one that I put above the doors, the
Okay.
windows, right?
Okay.
And I got a huge one like yours, a little bit.
Hmm.
I put this on Hekate's altar. Yeah.
Nice. Nice. So let me ask you. So this one's so big, there's no way it's going to be able to set on top of the door thing, right? Like it's so big it
Yeah.
can't sit on top. Can I just put in a nail and hang it above a door?
Yeah. Yeah,
Same
you could.
concept, right? I have to charge it, but then like it can hang above a door, right? For like protection or whatever,
uh,
you know.
yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Be creative.
Yeah, I will. I will. I'll be very creative, as a matter of fact. So
All right. Yeah.
let's talk. All right, anyway, so I wanted to show you I got that. Today we want to talk about President Marbas.
Mhm.
President Marbas, what I know is he likes to show himself as like a lion, like the great lion. Like he really comes out like pretty magnificent looking lion, uh, kind of Lion Kingy, just kind of the way they draw him and stuff. He just looks like he's big time stuff. I unfortunately was looking through my demon tarot and I couldn't find. I saw his sigil obviously when we were kind of looking into. I don't have it though, or his card. So there's just a little bit I know about him, and the one big thing about him is there's a lot of uh, practitioners of the occult that use him for like healing. So
Mhm.
healing what like if you have a cold, you got chronic disease, you have, I'm wondering if he can fix my ankle. Anyway, I'm handing it to you. President Marbas. Let's see what you I want to get your opinion on the guy.
Okay, so Marbas, he apparently rules over, 36 legions. He's a president in the hierarchy of hell. And I do have a card for him, but that would require me to get up and go grab it, and I won't do that right now. Maybe when you're speaking, I will.
There you go.
And so I have actually done 3 to 4 invocations to him. Uh, I consider him not only a healer, but also a protector of sorts, and maybe that kind of plays in with his characteristic of being a lion. I've heard a lot of good things health related with him. A lot of practitioners, when you go on like Reddit or online, say a lot of good things. And I wouldn't, it's not to excuse him. Maybe we can get into this later. It's not to excuse like actual medical help from like doctors, obviously, but it's a good assistance. Like if you have, a cancer, right? You shouldn't expect President Marbas to just full on heal that. But like you said, with like a common cold or headache or things like that, he definitely helps. I remember doing an invocation to him, and I had a lot of anxiety related to health. And I did an invocation and an offering to him, and I, promised to continue that if he kept me healthy. And there was a bunch of sicknesses going around in the household that I was in, and I never got sick. And I never got sick actually for like 9 months. And I usually get sick 4 times a year. It's like every season I get sick, whether it's common cold or, vomit, whatever you want to call it. But I never got sick for like 9, 10 months. But I stopped doing invocations and it kind of died down. And obviously I got sick again. But uh he's very soft and kind, I've noticed. Like when you invoke Asmodeus, it's probably darker, harder, more intense. And Marbus just kind of pops in there and he's super nice. And he taught me spiritual hygiene. This is when I started practicing spiritual hygiene. So I'll go into a side story real quick, and I don't want to get too off topic here. I started waking up with scratches on my body. I don't think I ever told you this.
I don't
And
remember.
I was like, well, that's kind of dumb. And I thought to myself, well, maybe it's myself. It was a scratch that would show a line and there'd be like a little bit of blood. It was like deep enough to cut, but like, yeah.
Do you
And
bite
so
you bite your nails? Do you bite nails?
sometimes, yes.
So then you could get a little jagged. Yeah. Okay. So that's what you're
Yep.
about. You're saying, oh, this could be me, maybe not. I don't know. All right.
Right. So I wore socks on my hands. The dumbest thing, I should have just put gloves on, but I wore socks on my hands and I'd still wake up with scratches. They'd be on my legs or my thighs or my stomach. I had a few on my back. So eventually I'm like, well, this is when I was unemployed, right? Living it up, credit card debt. You know how it is.
It happens. It
And
happens to the best of us.
yeah, yeah, for sure. And I'm like, well, maybe it's because I'm doing an invocation every day. I was actually exhausting it. It was ridiculous. So I started doing cleansings, and I actually remember making a protection jar, like a spell jar, and having Marbas's sigil on it.
Hmm.
And I put it next to a candle, and I let the candle burn. And the candle went up like halfway through the quote unquote ritual and empowering that I was doing for it. And I took that as a sign that it was done, and I stopped getting scratches. But it was good times. I like them. I hear good things.
I've never tried working with him ever. I've heard of him and, I've heard of the good things, and obviously you and I have been talking about him and, pretty cool. He's actually taking the whole thing to like a different level to me. So like for instance, they the fallen angels and or the guys that got demonized or even the more bigger ones or more ancient ones, whatever, they all kind of have a thing. They all kind of have a thing they're good at or kind of they have their own kind of go-to, right?
Hmm.
And uh his seemed to be kind of like for the people, um and like big help for like people, like almost
Hmm.
uh almost what's the word I'm looking for, like almost like like Everyone's offering the quarter pounder. Guys coming out with like the Big Mac. Like he just seems to like really come out with something really, really like important, like your health and healing is huge.
Hmm.
I mean, it's just a huge thing, and it just seems like President Marbas is really like it's just it's big, big, bigger than getting someone some cash or whatever.
Helping with wealth or something like that.
Help them
Yeah,
with the
health
well,
is
which
definitely.
health is so huge, and
Hmm.
if you really were well, so in sigil magic they also say it's kind of like a protein shake, right? If you're if you do the sigil and you're not working it, you're just laying in bed waiting for it to happen, it's not going to happen, right?
Right.
Drinking the protein shake, you're not hitting the weights, you're not going to get buff drinking the protein. You have to still put in the work. You'll just be astonished at how faster it comes using a sigil. So I would think it's the
Right.
same way, like you said. It doesn't mean you're getting rid of all medical advice. You're not going to get rid of your pills or whatever you need. But like ultimately, if you did have something and you reached out to President Marbas, you still would go to the doctor. You'd still, but maybe you'd start getting some breakthroughs, or maybe it would speed up, or maybe you'd get the answer you're looking for faster, quicker. You'd
Hmm.
start getting a tangible result. But like to your point, you can't just stop. You can't just stop. I mean that's not how this stuff works, right? You still got to put in the you got to put in the work, right? So
Right. Yeah. So like, yeah. So I like your shirt, by the way.
Lilith, I got
Hmm.
it. I got it because of you. I was actually going to send it to you, and I'm just lazy, so I just started wearing
Yeah,
it.
I remember that. I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah,
I'll get it over to you sometime,
one of these days.
one of these days.
You mentioned your ankle. You wanted President Marvis to help with your ankle. Is that still hurting?
So
You still limping?
oddly enough, when it starts to like rain and that barometric pressure comes down, it really gets painful. And so
Really?
okay. So it's like this with like people with arthritis. When it rains,
Hmm.
yep, leave a comment on this if you guys are listening and you know more about this. It tends to like increase inflammation and like just pain. I don't have let me adjust it. I don't have arthritis. I have like metal. I have metal in my ankle. There's like a plate and like screws, right? So I don't know
Yeah.
why metal would cause any kind of anything. But if it's true about inflammation, then my stuff is moving around and it's moving my screws and it's just causing me pain. It hurts. If it's rain, excuse me, if it's raining here, I'm limping. I'm limping around. If it's not, then I'm not too bad, you know. But
Yeah.
I also have to get on it. I got to get on it and work it and keep weight on it, and it needs like rehabilitated. So yeah, I would think that would be a good one for it's not like I still got to go to work. I still got to work my ankle. I'm still going to take walks and
Right.
try to strengthen it up. Excuse
Right.
me. But with the help of President Marbas, it'd be a cool thing to try. Although I can't prove it. It almost be miraculous if you could, if it actually. But hey, the things that have been working for me though have been kind of through the roof as of late. So,
Hmm.
Marbas is a good one. Um, you should um, you should go grab the card and sigil of
If
Marbas.
you keep talking, if
I'll
you keep
keep talking.
talking, I
I
will.
can keep talking. I can keep talking only because I feel like our conversation is going to switch here to more. I want to get into the healing and I want to get into some of these things. And I don't want to get completely off of Marbas until we can like show the audience a little more about him, obviously, right?
Yeah. Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I remember
Right.
seeing the sigil. It's pretty cool,
Okay.
but Yeah, he's
So
that's the lion. What's
is
he
it
hold?
focused?
Not bad. What's he holding? It's
It looks like a pillar.
like a pillar.
Pillar. Yeah. And then his sigil, it's so tiny, but it's,
Oh yeah, bring it up.
you,
A little closer. Come closer. A little closer. A little bit more right there. Oh yeah, okay. It's got like a little triangle and some like clover looking thing coming out there. Hey, that's pretty. Yeah, I remember seeing it. That's
yeah,
him.
President Mars.
That is him. So
Yeah.
you had that sigil on a jar, a spell
Yeah,
jar, and
yeah,
you kept it.
yeah. I
Uh,
dedicated it to him, yeah.
yeah, there you go. Yeah. So let's. So to me, if you reached out to Marbas and he helped you with something pretty pretty terrifying, like say a cancer or say something that's a little more hardcore.
Yeah.
You're now tipping the boat of like miraculous now. And
Mhm.
so oddly enough, there's been some things happening to me, happen to you that depending on who you're talking to, you could say that's pretty miraculous.
Mhm.
Or you could say, well, no, that's pretty common, in the occult world. So I guess I would ask this: what is the definition of a miracle, right? So could it be something that's happened to you that's the first time it's happened to you, or is it like the first time it's like ever happened, and that is now like a written, published like miracle? And like not only that, but like what are the known miracles? What are some of the popular ones that we know, you know?
Yeah, so I know. So to get on the point of definition, I don't have the definition pulled up, but I'm pretty sure it is something that can't be explained by natural law or science,
No, yeah, okay,
right?
yep,
So something that can't like necessarily be repeatedly tested, right? So if somebody has like a near death experience, right, they die for 5 minutes and they're pronounced dead, and science is basically saying they're dead, and they just like wake up all of a sudden. A doctor would be like, "Oh yeah, it's a miracle. I don't know.
right,
You're
right,
alive, right?"
right, yeah,
So, and that happens not crazy often, but it happens more than once.
often enough, yeah,
So, it's a lot of miracles are health related. Like, you have cancer all over, you have skin cancer all over your arm, and then you wake up and it's just gone. A lot of health related stuff. Obviously, I'm throwing out random examples, but
so, yeah. Well, so I hopped on uh, I got on this thing looking up President Marbus, and I thought he might be doing some stuff that someone could come out and say he helped me with this. This is big time. And I'm not saying he's performing miracles, but if you were a practitioner and he really did help you with something like that, you would have to consider it being pretty miraculous. So I started looking up just miracles, just because that's where I went with President Marbus. That seemed to just kind of flow together, oddly enough. And there's some. It was on I was watching YouTube and I just kind of clicked miracles. Anybody can do it. And it just went through like some miracles that are kind of documented and well known. There's like a guy who levitated and a bunch of people seen it. He didn't know what happened, or I don't know. And then like there's another thing where somebody was healed from something, and I wrote it down, but I can't find it. I got up to look for it. I don't know where it is. Um, and it was like the 12 great miracles, and they were all cool, but they're all really old. It was all
Mhm.
like old black and white, like footage and stuff. But there's been like when there was a sighting, I think, like in Brazil, where they all thought they saw the Virgin Mary in the sky. Well, I mean, is that a miracle, or did the cloud just look that way? I, I don't know. It's no different than
Hmm.
my light flickering. When we were talking about, I set up my altar and I asked Asmodeus if he was here with me, and the light was going nuts. Well, do I have a
Hmm.
faulty bulb? Or was it really
Right.
like, like how do you balance that? Well, even you and I were talking earlier about, well, how miraculous was it when Asmodeus tattooed my room? Well, pretty pretty miraculous, but yet there it could have been other things that have caused it, and I don't know what those would be, but there could have been. It's no different than you and your scratches, how you're saying, well, could have been something scratching me or I'm scratching myself. There's always like doubt, right? And
Yeah.
then and then the other well-known one is when the rivers or the sea split for old boy in the Bible,
Right.
Moses, which
Hmm.
they think is Akhenaten, by the way. But that should be a topic that we do. But yeah, he splits the thing. Um, there's also a theory that like the tide lowered and there was some land that they were still walking in a foot of water, but they walked through it, and by the time the army
Hmm.
came, the tide had came up, and it was just by chance, and it wasn't a miracle. Because you're going to have the miracle busters out there, right? You're going to have the people who are like, that didn't happen. Here's what happened.
Hmm.
you know I think David Blaine walked on water, didn't he? Chris Angel, one of them guys. Like, you can like you could
Yeah.
you could
Yeah.
you could pull it off,
Hmm.
right? Obviously he didn't.
Hmm.
you know
Hmm.
so they had a
And
camera guy down at the water level with him,
hmm.
and he's like, what? And there's nothing under him, there's nothing above him, but then they said there was a plastic thing coming off the camera that he was stepping on with the camera guy. So, even the magicians are getting, street magicians, not even magic like us, even the street magicians are like getting called out, like, oh, come on, we know how you did it. Not that
Right. Right.
I'm
Right.
not I'm not saying Jesus didn't walk on water, whatever, I wasn't there. But those are some of the well-known ones I know. The other one was Stigmata. So there was a movie, and Stigmata was when you just got the wounds of Christ. So you would wake up one day and you'd have the palms busted.
Hmm.
You could have the thorns, sorry, the crown of thorns like bleeding in your head. You get the wound in the side from the spear of Aaron,
Hmm.
right? And then your feet also could have. And there's been like some nuns and some priests who have gone and had stigmata. They're like blood's coming out their eyes, and like they're just bleeding everywhere. And they say it's a gift that Christ gives. One of them got debunked and said that he was like wounding himself, trying to say that he was having stigmata. But stigmata's
Okay.
happened maybe, I don't know how many times it was documented. And if someone out there knows, hit me up, because last time I looked at stigmata was years and years and years ago, and there was like a handful of people who've said they've had it or kind of went through it. And again, it's all like there's older people, and they're all like in the church world,
Right.
Catholic and Vatican, and that kind of thing. I would love it if some occult work was doing something miraculous.
Yeah.
I think it would fit the. I don't know. We need some stuff. You know, we need something big to happen where we can say, well, this happened, and we were like doing a thing for Asmodeus, and yeah,
Right.
this thing happened. So this is a real deal, which we already know it is, because we see tangible results and physical results. But there is a line of when you say, is that miraculous, or is that just, a result? So what is your personal thought on like miracles, like stigmata and the sea splitting, and like statues that are like crying and bleeding out their eyes, and stone doesn't bleed, but then there it is. Someone's like recording it. People are freaking out,
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. It's hard to say. You don't know. You're not there, right? So like
Right.
Jesus walks on water. I'm not. Well, I'm not there, right? If I was there and he was walking on water, then you know, fair play, right? But with the stigmata, that's what it's called.
Stigmata, there's actually a movie that's pretty kill called Stigmata, where a girl,
Oh, well,
it's a movie. It ain't based on true story, I don't think, but the girl gets stigmata and she kind of gets possessed. She starts writing some weird stuff on a board, and at the end, the wounds have healed and she got in touch with God, and like birds and stuff are just landing on her. Like she just became
yeah.
like in touch with like the world.
So there's random miracles that happen to just regular everyday Joes going to their 9 to 5, presumably. But I would say that miracles that are related to, spirituality or religion or what have you could, and this might be getting into conspiracy land. I already see your face boiling at the thought of a conspiracy theory here.
I'm
But
I like a
it,
good conspiracy theory role.
no, so we got on the topic of omnism on episode who knows what,
We did.
and how we kind of believe in everything. So what if somebody, let's say a Christian, okay, they worship God every Sunday,
Yep.
and I believe the more that you talk, that you think about, and the more that you kind of offer energy to an entity, likely the more powerful it gets. And we got to think, Christianity's got what, you know, at least 1 billion people, right? We
Yeah,
got
I
what,
mean,
8 billion people here now?
well, like between that and like Islam, right? Those are the two biggest
Yeah,
religions.
Abrahamic religion.
You know what I'm saying?
So
That's so,
so
you know,
so Yahweh's got to be a pretty baller dude with some energy. So, he
sure does.
might
Yeah.
be like, you know what? I like this dude. Let's raise him from the dead after 5 minutes. I like this dude. Let's cure him of this, because he kind of has the quote unquote energy to do so. So many people worship him every, you know, day,
Mm,
right?
that's
As
interesting.
for, but that's not to say that like, the theory can be kind of debunked because it's like, well, President Marbas doesn't have, likely over 300,000 people, invoking him, right? So he's probably lesser known, but he still has some power to him, right?
Honestly,
So,
if that dude had 1,000 people, like with an altar,
yeah,
I would be surprised.
actually,
Yeah,
like, yeah.
I would be surprised. Like there's so many fallen angels. Well, let me throw my hat into the ring. If
Okay.
if you won the lottery, is that a miracle? Because think about this. We're kind of getting off the occult, but I'll bring it back in. But if you won the lottery, I would say that's a miracle because there's a 1 in 1 billion chance you can do it. And boom, you got it. It was you that got it. You won it. That's awesome. But to your point, it's not a miracle because it happens once a year or several times a year.
Yeah,
Someone's hitting the
right.
lottery, right?
Yeah.
I guess
Yeah.
if it happens to you, you're the one that can determine what that is. Hey, I want to talk. I want the timer kicked. We have a few minutes, and I want to end it with my last sigil. Can we talk about the last sigil when I called you freaking out like 6 times?
Yeah. Yeah. That's fine.
So let me end this.
Yeah.
Well, it's miraculous to me.
Yeah.
So let me just get the viewers what happened. I wrote a sigil, okay, and
Mhm.
I actually wrote it on this notepad, okay,
Mhm.
and I wrote my intention. I took out the vowels. I drew it here, and then I went and shredded that one, and then I redrew it to make it look pretty awesome. And obviously,
Big time stuff.
big time stuff. You fold it 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So this is the size of paper that my sigil was on. You can see it compared to my
Okay.
hand. It's quite small. All right.
Mhm.
So to charge it, I burned it. Okay.
Mhm.
And I burned it in this, and it's still there. Okay. So this is a ceramic little tray that I had made in a like a pottery class that I took, whatever. And you can see the candle, and you can see the burnt sigil here.
Yeah.
And then that's just black wax. So
Mhm.
it was between a black and red candle and a black and red candle that I burn for my altar. So the altar's going. I have the incense. I'm doing the chant. I'm doing Asmodeus's in. I'm asking him to charge my sigil. And I place this in between these two candles because you can see the other wick is actually right there.
Mhm.
So you can see the two wicks. And then, of course, my burnt sigil. See it?
Mhm. Mhm.
Well, for the audience, the sigil started burning. And I was like, okay. And obviously, to burn something like this would take about 42 seconds. So your fingers are burning and it's gone, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
Weak, weak. So this thing burned and it burned and it burned and it burned. And about 40 minutes later, the candles are all melted. There's no more wick. There's no more wick.
Mhm.
The wax is hot. And the paper is still burning. It had a flame about this high and it never left. So the first thing I did is I went and I grabbed some people I'm with. Now, I don't want to say names or anything. They don't want to be associated with the call world. They come look at it, and we all just kind of sat there and watched it for like another 20 minutes. Everybody was in
Mhm.
awe. Everyone was in awe. I'm studying it. I'm looking at it. Okay. I start freaking out because I'm going on this thing, this piece of paper burning for an hour. That's when I call you and I
Mhm.
say, bro, I'm freaking out. And you're like, well, let's see it. So I show you.
Mhm.
We're down to like 3 minutes. Anyway, I think I called you like three more times. Like in
I told you to stop calling me,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
called
well,
me again. It was yeah.
yeah, well, I mean, I wanted someone to be like, dude, it's been 20 more minutes. This is still burning. It burnt for 2 hours, unheard of. There's no reason why it would. And then I even asked you if the wax is hot enough, how can hot wax hold a flame? And you said 15
Mhm.
minutes. I looked it up. It ain't even that. This thing burned for 2 hours. And then I wanted to stay up all night and watch it and just see how long it'd go. And I was just going to do Asmodeus's in. I thought, well, this is amazing. This is spectacular. I got so tired,
Mhm.
I blew it out. And I'm so in love with the whole thing, I haven't even touched it. It just sits there because I don't want to mess with it. So it's
Yeah.
is that a miracle? I made a piece of paper, burned for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Is that a miracle? Or is that just what happened? Was that just the occult? Why can't
I
the
want
occult?
I want to hear I want to hear I want to hear people's opinions in the comments.
I do too. I do too. If this is common stuff in the occult, it should be considered a miracle. And the occult gets its name in the books, my friend. That's where I'm headed. That's what I'm saying. That's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. Now, when I call the Guinness Book of World Records to come over and look at it, it's just going to go out because that's how it works.
Yeah, the occult is hidden, right? Isn't that
Yeah,
like the official translation of it? That which
forbidden,
is hidden.
hidden, and forbidden, and all
Oh,
that. Hey,
forbidden.
we're
Yeah.
we're okay. Hey, cool episode. Kind of got off the occult a little bit there, talking about miracles. Swung it right back into the occult. Good ending. We have about 30 seconds left. Uh, Summary of the show. You think? Good one.
Yeah, it was good. Love President Marbas. I think he's very underrated in uh, kind and gentle. I definitely recommend reaching out if you're interested in him. Stay hydrated,
Stay
Fiji
hydrated.
water.
Hit us up in the comments. Again, we're always asking for help. Hit us up in the email. It's at the end of the video. And all
Mhm.
right. Hey, it was good to see you. It's good to do it again.